everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Rookies podcast presented by Cosmos Sports and Entertainment. I am your host, Olivia Sala, and joining me are my two co-hosts, Tristan Tata and Anne Lewicki. Together, we are going to help share our interns' perspectives regarding their internships, their roles within the business, as well as just general topics in sports and entertainment news. On today's episode, we will be discussing sales and what exactly that means, as well as the role one can play within it. Ticket sales is a big part of what we do here at Cosmos, as it is one of our main services that we provide for our clients. So I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about. But before we get into that, I'd like to introduce to you all our guests for today's episode, starting with our veterans. We have Michael Lorkovich, who is the Director of Ticket Sales for the Brampton Beast Hockey Club, as well as Devin Tivendale, who is an account executive for the team. The Brampton Beast have been a client of Cosmos since 2013. Our president, Carrie Kaplan, is also the president and general manager of the team, so we have a very close relationship with them. And both Michael and Devin interned for the Beast before being hired full-time. So we are very excited to have them on to provide us with some of their expertise regarding sales, as well as any tips they can provide students to ensure their success in the industry. On our rookie side, we have Dan Miller and Daniel Lamming. They are two account executives for Cosmos' fall semester internship program in a sales role. And joining them are Stephen Mobilio and Matt Fisher, who are also two account executives for the Beasts fall internship semester. So welcome everyone to the Rookies podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Let's jump right into today's topic. I wanted to start off by asking each of you what your definition is of sales. I know this is something that we have gone over in training sessions with Carrie, but for the purposes of our show and our listeners, maybe you can just share your thoughts on this. So Stephen, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, for me, like I kind of been learning on the fly that just being able to build relationships with other people and just kind of talking to those that have already shown interest in the product that we have been able to provide, and asking them about their experiences and just growing a connection with them and being able to just relate with them and treating them like they're a person. I find that I didn't really have a full understanding of what sales was before really coming into it, but I've learned from Michael and Devin, like building that relationship for me is like the most important thing, and I think it really plays a big part in sales in general.
Awesome. And how about you, Matt?
Yeah, to kind of follow up with Stephen there, I think that relationship building has been the biggest part of our sales product at the moment. Just kind of reaching out to people and having them, believe in the same thing you do. When you believe in your product and, really reach out to people and get them, to feel like they're a part of something is the biggest part of getting people to follow you and making that sale.
Awesome. And Daniel?
Yeah, so I feel like there's going to be a lot of piggybacking off of everyone, but yeah, just to follow up with what Matt said there, yeah, we've had to buy into like what we're doing. We learn it and we just want to pass it along, and get people to buy into our product as well by building relationships, as Stephen said. And we just want to cap off on what the marketing team has been doing and close that sale.
Great. And Dan, anything else to add just on?
Yeah, I think everyone's pretty much covered most of it, but I think definitely the biggest thing for me from like what I've been doing is just taking the system that we're presenting to the consumers and to the customers and having them buy into the system and going above and beyond like what your main duties are as a salesperson, like trying to build that personal connection. So once you make that sale, people remember who you are, and also the people, remember, like kind of take the pivotal moments of your conversation and try and take that and build off of to close the sale. But yeah, everything's pretty much covered with that.
Great. And anything from Devin or Michael, anything to add from that?
Yeah, and I'll kind of reiterate on what the team's saying here, and I think the rookies all had great answers. And I guess to change it up a bit, I'll kind of go on the fact that at both the Cosmos and Beast, we kind of promote a culture of building those relationships, of having confidence, like they just mentioned. But also, sales gets a negative stigma sometimes. I know for myself, starting in a ticket sales role as an intern with the Beast, Olivia, as you mentioned a couple of years ago, almost 3 years ago now, coming in, you think sales, you think knocking on the door, someone knocks on your door, you're annoyed, you kind of don't want to answer it, or you got a call from different companies on your phone. Duct cleaning's the first one that comes to mind, and that's what you think, the first thing you think of when you hear of sales. And then you really get to understand through the trainings we've had at Cosmos with Carrie and kind of learning the culture of both Cosmos and the Beast. It's not that at all. It's relationship building, and we're here to sell sports and entertainment. We're here to provide that fan-centric experience, and that's what we all have to stick to in order to kind of build those relationships on the phone and not have that negative stigma come across when we're communicating that to our fans.
For sure. I think you definitely hit the head on the nail there. And that was kind of leading into my next question, was going to be talking about those stigmas, because we have gone over that with Carrie in a lot of our training sessions. So my question to the rookies is, as individuals who are just starting out in the industry and who are in a sales position, what are some of the things that you're doing to differentiate yourselves so that you're not falling victim to these negative assumptions that people have about sales? And are there any tools that you've learned in your internship so far that have helped you to do that?
So just with Cosmos, I've learned that just the culture is so much different than everything I've been used to before. Like I've been in a sales role with at a gym, and that's where everyone is very cold to, like, I don't want your promotions, like just like tell me what you have. But I've learned that like Cosmos is about happiness all around to its staff, and they want that to pass on to potential clients and customers. And one thing that I've really learned from the meetings with Carrie was, like, if you go in just being you and not willing to take information from calls and adapting, it's selfish and you're more likely to lose. And yeah, you just want to always adapt and just stay positive.
I can jump in to that too. Like I find like just being able to be personable right away is like a really big deal for a lot of people, because whenever I've had calls and whenever I ask, how are you? And then usually the response will just be, I'm doing good. And then if they ask how I'm doing, then we can just keep carrying off of that before we even talk about anything else. And I think just being able to build that comfort with someone is just if you can do that, then I feel like the conversation itself, when you are pitching anything, it just really makes it a lot easier for both sides. And even like something simple, like did I catch you at a good time? Like I've been using that a lot to make sure that even if I'm interrupting something, I don't want to be like interrupting anything, like they're in a meeting or anything, and then just set up something in the future if it's a bad time. But showing that you're looking out for them as well, I find has helped a lot.
I kind of have a follow-up question to that, and maybe this is more so for the veterans versus the rookies that have experience. But do you find that, like, since COVID, more people are just looking to have just like a conversation, just start a conversation, more willing to just talk about life and chat? Since we've been so kind of isolated from our social lives, do you find that it's been different as far as, sales over the phone?
Yeah, 100%, Tristan. I think you nailed it on the head with that. I think anyone. I mean, we've been working from home since March as well, and if someone were to call me, I'd be more appreciative of that and want to talk more. So I do think people are more receptive right now to having a conversation, over the phone or over Google Meet or Zoom call, kind of like this, which we kind of really appreciate. And kind of going off that, I think people are anxious to have something to look forward to. So you have a couple of, the first couple seconds into the call to establish that relationship, that you're not just, hey, do you want to buy 2 tickets right away kind of thing. And then once you do build that relationship and you get them talking, and you want to address COVID right away, ask them how they're doing. You don't want to be oblivious to it and not kind of mention that point. But then at the end of the day, they want to look forward to doing something. So they're anxious to purchase tickets for whatever sport and entertainment event it might be, because we're all waiting for that day where we can go back to a hockey game or go back to a cricket match. So you kind of nailed it on the head with that. And Dev, I don't know if you want to jump in and kind of go off that a little bit.
Yeah, I can add to that, absolutely. And Mike, you brought up a lot of really good points there. Like, people are, especially now more than ever, people are really looking just for a genuine conversation, because there are a lot of people, that are either out of a job or, that have to stay home and teach their kids and stuff like that. And, sometimes people genuinely just need to vent. Or if some people, just need to put their life aside for a couple of minutes and just talk about whatever. And it's been really nice. We've been doing a lot of these check-in calls over the past few months there, especially with the Beast. And some of those calls, have been 45 minutes. They've been an hour and a half of just, straight talking about what's going on in life and stuff like that, just to keep people's minds off things. Yeah, so it really starts there with just keeping our fans in mind that that we care about them and that we want to obviously help them through a tough time like this.
Great. And so just to kind of follow up with that, because this also leads into one of my other questions for you, Michael and Devin. How have you guys found keeping yourselves and your interns motivated to keep, hounding those phones and making sure that they're reaching out to people? What's that been like, keeping the morale up in the office, especially when, you can't see each other face to face? You're all kind of at home and by yourself. So what's that been like?
That's a great question, and that's something I've been really working at kind of on a weekly basis. So for anyone who doesn't know, I kind of got promoted into the director of ticket sales the week before COVID, so the week before our season got canceled. So I've never really, I'd like to think I led when I was an account executive and whatnot, but I've never been able to lead the way I wanted to in an office, because we've been working kind of away from home. So constantly every day I'm kind of thinking, how do we keep everyone motivated? Even for myself, how do I stay motivated? You're working from home, which I think work ethic tends to be better. I think we realized soon on in this kind of adventure that you'd think there would be more distractions, but you're actually more focused, and you kind of get the same amount, if not more, work done. So for me, I think it starts with the great team. So I've been fortunate enough to have 2 great group of interns, 2 great groups of rookies so far. And I think it's really just having a culture where we're not just working from 9 to 5. I think I try and set up with the Beast interns, and they can tell you we have a couple times a week we get together and just talk about sports and life. I think that's important because it's tough right now, right? We're trying to sell sports and entertainment when we're physically not able to have these events for rightful reasons. I mean, due to government regulations, and we want safety is our number 1 priority. But I think in order to keep everyone motivated, even myself, we all have to communicate. And you can't go to someone's office or cubicle and talk to them about the night before sports events on TV, which really is a big thing we promote in Cosmos and Beast culture, is that foundation of family. So getting together every couple times with different departments, marketing and ticket sales, at least from the Beast end, I think that helps motivate the team. Really just, we're in it together. We're a family. We got to stay positive and keep pushing. And I think having those meetings like we would in office as best as we can over Google Meet and Zoom is one way I've really tried to do that. And I've gotten great feedback from that. Maybe Matt, Steven, if you guys want to jump in and just talk about those calls we have with when we come up with different topics. Just how's the feedback been on that? The rookies pick a topic for each of those calls, whether it's top 3 places you want to visit, what you want to do after the pandemic, just things like that. So if you guys just want to chime in here on those meetings.
Sure. Yeah, I can chime in on that. I mean, one of the big things about staying motivated and being a part of this team is that immediately when you come in, you feel like you're a valued member of the Brampton Beast. You don't feel like you're walking in, you're an intern, and I mean, you can't go and get coffee now because nobody's together, but you don't feel like you're just being thrown into the wind and given that job that nobody else wants to do, but you're here for an internship, so you can do it. So you're immediately put in as a big part of the team. You're making those calls. You're setting up with everyone else to enjoy what he's talking about is that staff lunch we have together. It's just an hour call where you can just hang out, enjoy, and feel like even more of a part of the team. So I think that in itself just makes you want to contribute to the team and sell, and that really motivates you in its own way.
And even I can add a bit to that too, like just being able to have building that personal connection with everyone, because we only really get to see each other at 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock meetings, and then maybe occasionally we'll message each other, but having that hour, it just means so much, just because we're able to get to know each other better through that hour, and just being able to connect that way, I feel like it just makes me personally feel a lot more comfortable in where I'm at. And even when I might think I'm struggling or to do something, I get that reassurance right away from being a part of something like that.
Great. Maybe any of the guys on the Cosmos end want to chime in at all?
Yeah, I'll come in there. So, me, John and I have definitely been, John Stiles is my supervisor with Cosmos so far for ticket sales, and he always checks in on us at least once or twice a week. And then, we always kind of start 15, 20 minutes just talking about sports, talking about what's going on, just getting entertaining. But he's been doing a really good job of keeping us focused, giving us information every week of, what we should be doing, what we should be looking out for. He's definitely keeping us motivated on the phones as well, too, just kind of giving us basic information that we can use. So if there's any questions, we have the information right in front of us, and just, every week he's been checking in, making sure we're doing good. And I'm sure Daniel can add some more onto that as well too.
Yeah, definitely do. Whenever we're in any meeting, it usually either starts or ends with just some small talk about sports, and just, especially with me living in Toronto as an Ottawa Senators fan, it's really easy just to get little feud conversations going. And that's, as we all know, that's what sports is about. But yeah, it's so nice to know that even people who are doing incredible things, they treat us like we're just part of the team. And whenever there is something that huge coming up, we're always in the loop right away, and it's an incredible feeling, especially as an intern.
Awesome. So I'm just gonna kind of go ahead here into the next part. So let's get a little bit more into your specifics of your roles with Cosmos and the Beast. And Daniel, I'll start with you.
Oh yeah, definitely. So right now, Dan and I wrapped up with the Hamilton Philharmonic Orchestra and Tafel Music, and we've moved on to coming account, the Ottawa Aces for the rugby team in Ottawa. We're making outreach prospect list right now.
Awesome. So how has that been for you guys? I know the orchestra accounts are probably the two accounts I would say that a lot of our rookies overlook as the accounts that they want to be a part of and kind of go into. So maybe Dan, I'll go to you on this one. What's it been like working for those accounts? What were your initial thoughts when you received those as what you'd be working on? And have you liked it? What have you kind of taken away from being a part of HBO and TAFL?
Yeah, so for me, it was definitely interesting at first. I did having coming in, I did have a little experience selling tickets over the phone with my school's box office. So I was definitely interested at first just to see like what it was like to sell orchestra tickets as opposed to sports tickets, which I was used to. So I definitely had a little bit of background in that. But so I did orchestra and HP or TAFL music, excuse me, for the past 3, 4 weeks, and that was definitely something that was pretty intriguing. The people who I called were definitely passionate about either HBO or TAFL music, like whichever tickets they were buying as well. So you definitely was able to close a couple of sales with those both those accounts. But I mean, overall, it was definitely a good experience going through there, and I enjoyed it at the end. You know, talking with people, getting something new and different.
Great. And so I'll switch over to the B side. Maybe Matt, I'll come to you. Can you tell our listeners what it is that you do for the Beast?
Yeah, so what we've been doing, essentially, I'm here Wednesday to Friday. I am in classes Monday and Tuesday as well. Kind of nice to be at home. I would like to get that sort of in the office experience, but just started a family here, so it's nice to be home for lunch and breaks. Anyway, so what we've been doing is really going through some past clients, past fans of the Beast, and just reaching out to them, kind of building those relationships, and with the hopes of having them come back and join us. Originally it was December, now looking at January 15th, but whether it's single game tickets or promoting some of our flex packs where they can get tickets to multiple games and have that flexibility of choosing the games they want to come to. So just reaching out on the phones, through calls, reaching out through emails, and just kind of gauging where people are and building those relationships so that in the future, when they do start thinking about more of getting out into an entertainment setting, they can really start thinking of us, and we'll be in the front of their minds.
Honestly, like Matt pretty much nailed it there. And I don't think, other than me doing it on Monday and Tuesday as well, I don't know if I can add much to it. But I'm basically doing the exact same thing, just trying to build those relationships and just being able to talk to these people that have been to games in a previous season or anything like that, and asking them about their experiences, and like even just being able to give them a call back, see how they're doing is just really meaningful. And hope, and even being able to have them come out, hopefully if at some point, and then we just being able to give them that experience really is really nice.
Awesome. And so I know with COVID and everything happening, the game days, we don't have them. The season hasn't started. We're kind of in this long off season. That's very different for a lot of us. But I know that groups are a big thing for the Beast, and you guys have been working on camps and things like that. So maybe this is a question for Michael and Devin. You can provide a little bit more insight on this, but it's also going to the interns as well. How do you go about selling the group tickets, and kind of like what's the approach there to get people to come to the games or be a part of it?
Yep. I think I'll let maybe Stephen and Matt, since they're just starting up on some group outreach, and also Devin dig in a little bit, but I'll kind of give a brief overview. So groups are an important part, like you said, Olivia, of what we do here at the Beast, and I know also on Cosmos on some accounts on the ticket sales side. But obviously right now, like for example, schools and minor hockey, the two main groups that are kind of our bread and butter at the Beast. A lot of minor hockey teams, I'd say maybe half, aren't practicing together right now. And schools obviously aren't allowed to book field trips. So we still want to get commitments and, get those group deposits in. We're going to play at some point. So we want to get those commitments to us, and at the very least build those relationships and have that point of contact still. But like you mentioned, I'll let Dev chip in here, but we've come up with some new innovative programs to cater around the times right now and really bring in some revenue generation, and also make it easier for us to get those commitments. So Dev, do you want to just chip in on what we're doing on the minor hockey side? We got some stuff in the works for a school program and doing Zoom events with schools, but I'll let Dev kind of dig in with the minor hockey clinics we're running right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So like minor hockey is, kind of what I've been doing since I started with the Beast. I'm kind of like Michael there. I started with the Beast right as COVID hit. I'm pretty sure we were working from home already by that point. So I kind of only know selling from home, which I've gotten accustomed to. But yeah, it's definitely not been easy in a time like this. But yeah, like Mike said, we've had to get creative and kind of revamp some of our programs there, like the pregame program, like you explained there. And yeah, we've also decided to start putting on some hockey clinics as well for some minor hockey kids. And so, that would entail, professional level coaching as well from some of our past alumni or people that have been involved with the team in the past. And, we really want to start building those skills and get kids out on the ice, because we know that's something that they haven't really been able to do, especially since around mid-March there, is be out on the ice and actually practice with their team. And we know kids are dying for that. So that's why we kind of came up with the revamped pregame program and the hockey clinics as well. Obviously just to start honing in on some of those skills that they would have there, and to start making that a team building experience as well, because that's half of the sport, right? Is to be close with your team, and that's super important to us as well. So yeah, we've been really fortunate and really lucky that we got to work with a couple teams here, and then we're really excited to put these camps on as well.
Yeah, for my own internship, I wasn't really ever expecting to be doing it this way, but this is how it is. And as challenging as it can be, like, you got to roll with the punches. And it's, at the end of the day, like, this is an experience that a lot of people will never really get. And being able to sell at a time like this, even if the results aren't as good as it would be in a normal setting, that it's something that no one will ever really be able to do again. And being able to have that experience, just, I feel like, is helping me grow in my own ways. Just being able to build relationships over the phone, whether even not in person. And I think that in regards to just the challenges that we face when it comes to making calls, just being able to communicate with fans of what we're doing to combat COVID and what we're going to be doing in our own plans is just something that they appreciate when you're clear with them, and just giving them the info that they want to know is just really good for them, I think.
And I guess I'll jump in here too. I know Matt and Steven, just quickly for the other rookies on this call, have heard this before, but I think it's a great opportunity that you guys are kind of with us for these 4 months. And I know you were all selected for your specific reasons, but even selfishly for yourself, you're selling sports and doing that outreach or whatever you may be doing with the account, sports and entertainment during a pandemic, which not a lot of people would A, be able to do, B, be fit for, and C, you can take that, whether it's with the Cosmos and Beast and the future opportunities or your future resume and future interviews. You guys, you're going to grow so much as people. These obstacles are going to be, and objections are going to be the hardest ones. I'm pretty confident for the rest of your life, if you stick in ticket sales or sales in general, that you'll kind of have to overcome. So I think you're all going to grow exponentially, even more than a regular internship group, even if the results aren't as good as they would be before. But you guys are just building those relationships and getting around more objections than ever before, and that's the main reason for it, and has nothing to do with who you are or anything like that, or your effort. If your attitude and your work ethic's there, the results will come. So I just wanted to give that for a little piece of advice for everyone, because I think I mention it like once a week in our Beast calls. So yeah, wanted to jump in there.
I'll go to the rookies here and just ask what your biggest takeaway from the sales training sessions with Carrie has been, or just your internship in general. What has been your biggest takeaway thus far?
Yeah, like with the training sessions with Carrie, I wasn't really sure what to expect going into them, but like it kind of just changes your whole perspective on sales in general, just because you always have the idea of going into it like, oh, you always just be yourself. But in reality, that's not the whole picture. Like, there's so much more to it than just being yourself. Like, yeah, you can be yourself, but there's also like different versions of yourself. Like, you're gonna be courteous to anyone you talk to, because you want them to feel important and that they're cared for. Because if you're talking the same way over and over again, then it's not really gonna come off as genuine for anybody at that point.
Yeah, for me it's just like believing in yourself and believing what you're selling in. So, just making a personal connection with who you're talking to on the phone, as well as like every call isn't going to go perfect. Every call isn't going to be the greatest call in the world. So, just kind of like flushing it from your mind if it's a bad call, and just getting the energy to make the next call is definitely a biggest thing that I've learned. Is just, every call is going to be different. So you just got to go in with like a positive mindset to every call that you're going into, whether it be sales or customer service or anything like that we've discussed.
Yeah, I think for me, a lot of it has come down to the confidence of it. I, like probably most people in the world, came in with the idea of that stigma of sales being kind of a thing you don't want. You don't want to hear people call, but just through the trainings and working with Michael and Devin, just having that confidence and understanding that we're reaching out to people to build a relationship, and then the sales fall in that way, I think is my biggest takeaway from it. It's not see how many people you can call and ask if they want to buy tickets. It's spend a little bit of time, see how they're doing, and your results will likely increase.
Yeah, and a huge thing for me, aside from learning from Carrie in our weekly meetings, like just from the beginning, when um, like Matt was saying earlier, when you have these negative thoughts of being an intern, where it's like, okay, like go grab coffee, like and just like every odd task will just be on you. But like from the beginning, like when we were making our like email signatures, it's like you're an account executive for Cosmos. Like that's what we are. Nowhere in there is an intern, and we're just part of the organization. And it's like it was such an incredible feeling to do that when you have all those negative thoughts of like, okay, like what's going to be put on me today type of deal. But we're just part of the staff, which is really nice.
So maybe I'll go to Michael and Devin. What has it been like for you guys going from an internship position to now a full-time position? And what advice can you give to future students who come and work for the Beast or for Cosmos in their internship, so that they can be successful and possibly move on to a full-time role with the company?
Go ahead, Dev. You can go first.
Okay, yeah. So like Olivia said there, I just got out of my internship in April this year. But yeah, like the internship was great itself. And then like the internship I had with the Beast as well was with their charity ticket program. So I was the main contact for all the charities that we dealt with. And we actually were giving tickets to some of these charities, so they'd be able to come out to our games, and just people who maybe wouldn't be able to afford them, or who might not be in the right situation to be able to get these tickets, then we give them a chance to come out to our games. But yeah, like the biggest difference between the internship and working full time, obviously, is like for right now at least, is COVID, just because it's just so different, having to sell all over the phone and over the computer itself. Like I find, at least, especially when we go back into office and stuff like that, I imagine that, we're going to be using a lot of things like this, like Google Meets and Zoom. I think it's going to become, some of the new normal, at least a part of the sales world. And it's just easier to be able to connect with people. You don't have to, obviously pick a location or anything like that. You can just hop on a Zoom call and hash it all out there, and while you're still able to read each other's body language and everything like that. And yeah, but you know what, this whole thing since April has been a huge ride, and it's been a lot of fun. So I can't be thankful enough for that.
Yeah, and for me, I guess the first thing I'll say, Olivia, is we had four of our intern group. 4 of us got hired full time. I think that's the record. So no big deal to this class. You guys have big shoes to fill. But no, all kidding aside, I think it's just come in with an open mind and realize you're going to be a part of the Beast or Cosmos family and culture. The culture is great, which you can see for you guys, at least hopefully in these Zoom calls and Google Meets we do, but especially when we are in the office, you're going to be treated as family. You're going to be one of us. As you guys can see, you're doing all the work that a full-time would do. We really do rely on each and every one of you very heavily. And I kind of alluded to this earlier, but I'll kind of go off it a little bit is an old kind of colleague, advisor of mine back when I was an intern kind of told me this, and I've been telling this to kind of everyone since, and especially my managerial role is just have a great attitude, have a great work ethic, and the results and the skills will come, especially in ticket sales. I think I have a lot of learning to do. I'm not perfect by any means, but especially when I came in, I had no experience. But having a positive attitude and, showing the effort, committing to the outreach or whatever task was given really helped me learn. The skills came afterwards, which you can always teach skills, but it's harder to teach the attitude and the work ethic. So if you have the two of those, you're bound to have results, you're bound to succeed individually and also help out the Beast and Cosmos.
Yeah, and if I can just jump back in there as well, I think a huge part of it as well is getting out of your comfort zone. So, especially if you're coming in to be an intern to be an account executive, if you think you have a good idea that could maybe be used for marketing, or you have a good place to target for sponsorship, then, you shouldn't be afraid to be able to bring that to that director, and you can get yourself involved with, you can dip your foot in just about every pool in the business, in this business, and you can really get a feel for, what you maybe like and what you don't, what you're comfortable with, and what you're maybe even good at that you didn't even know, right? So it's all about getting out of your comfort zone and trying a bunch of new things as well.
So for any student who's looking for an internship either with the Beast or Cosmos, you can visit our websites. So there's www.bramptonbeast.com as well as www.cosmosports.com. If you'd like to reach out to us directly, you can email me at osala@cosmosports.com or Michael Hunter at mbhunter@cosmosports.com. As well as on the BSEN, you have Anthony Fusco, who is in charge of the internship program there. If you'd like to get in contact with him, you can email him at afusco@bramptonbeast.com. So that's kind of it for us on the internship side. Thank you everyone for being on the episode and talking about ticket sales. I'm sure your responses that I missed were great, so I'm excited to hear them when I go through the editing process here. But I'm going to pass it over to Tristan and Anne for our rapid fire questions segment.
Yeah, so our first question, it's kind of for the group and everyone. Since this is our first podcast as a group here and we're getting into the podcast game, we kind of want to know what some of your favorite podcasts are that you've been listening to and what you really think about podcasts and just some of your favorites right now.
Spinning chicklets. Always spinning chicklets.
Agreed.
The Steve Dangle podcast is a really good one as well. If you're a Leafs fan, I really enjoy that one as well.
Yeah, Spittin' Chicklets, Part of My Take, The Core, all great podcasts, all good listens.
And then I guess for everybody, that's into like basketball and football, do you guys prefer like NCAA or collegiate or professional?
I would say for basketball, definitely a mix between the two, but for football, I'd have to go with the NFL. I just think it's too top heavy and SEC bias that like I just have no interest.
Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate. I'll go with collegiate football and collegiate basketball. I'd say I have a little bit of a bias because I just came off a LSU championship season. Go Tigers! So there's definitely nothing like going to a collegiate football game as opposed to an NFL football game, just like the atmosphere. And I mean, NBA's product is definitely better than college basketball because I'm tired of watching 10 missed threes go in a row, but there is also nothing like going to a good old college basketball game and just when number one comes to town against an unranked and the upsets, it's unpredictable. So that's what I like about it.
Could we get a Coach O impression real quick?
Oh, I got no Coach O impression, but I think Man, I can't. I don't even got me on the spot here.
Just give me a go Tigers.
Yeah, go Tigers.
Oh yeah, I was hoping you touch on like the culture. I think with collegiate, yeah, like the culture is second to none, and like being associated with the school. So I'm glad you brought it up. But how about in football specifically? When it comes to professional, is anyone more on one side or the other when it comes to NFL versus CFL?
NFL all the way.
Yeah, NFL.
Yeah, there's a big difference in talent, and it is a different game, and some people do like CFL, but I think the NFL is a superior product.
Though, if I'm to play devil's advocate, I think a lot of the rules in the CFL are pretty great, but like Matt said, the talent pool down in the States is just incredible.
Yeah, I will say I like again like with the culture thing. Like I love that the CFL is Canadian, but yeah, I mean fair points for sure. With the whole talent pool and stuff. I mean, it's cool that they're all like Canadians that are playing, but the level of play definitely is different for sure. Okay, I'll just move on to the fun question here. Cosmos versus Beast, 5-on-5. Who would win in hockey?
This is like a great debate depending on the rookie class. It's really up to the rookies. I feel like if we shut O'Connor down, the game, like, it's over. Well, O'Connor used to be on the Beast team as of like probably a year ago. So when he transitioned, it was a big loss for us. But I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know how everyone's hockey skills are. So I'd like to say Beast, but who knows? Cosmos, you guys might have some hidden gems.
Are we allowed to hit? Or is this like non-contact 5-on-5?
Yeah, no equipment, like just skates, gloves, sticks,
okay.
helmet. Yeah.
So no one's gonna get past me in net. So it's fine. We're Cosmos, easy win.
It's key. It's key. If you guys have a goalie, you might take it, because I don't think we have a tendy.
I'm pretty sure we can beat Daniel. That's not a problem.
You want to scrap? You want it?
Well, I'll go. Yeah, sure. I played enough. We can do it.
I believe in our team's ability to get past Daniel.
Okay, so I guess we'll move into our last question here. I was a little hurt that no one was loving on baseball before, but at least we got two people that were talking a little about baseball, so this question may be a little more relevant. But last night was Game 1 of the World Series. We got Tampa Bay and my favorite, the LA Dodgers. I'm hoping for a Game 7 just to prolong the baseball season, but who do you guys have right now for the World Series? Who are you favoriting, and why so?
I picked Dodgers all the way just because – I mean, I've said that for the last few years, and that hasn't really worked out. So, but I mean, I think the Dodgers are just way too heavy of a team for Tampa to take out. And as much as like it would be a really cool thing if Tampa won the World Series with the lowest pay, like basically all their pitchers making as much as Clayton Kershaw, and like that would be special. And I actually really want it to happen, but I don't think it will.
I think with the outfield that Tampa has, it's going to be really hard for any team to go and win 4 games against them. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to say Tampa Bay, because also the Dodgers are cursed. They can't win a World Series.
You're talking outfield. Belly's been pretty impressive out there, and so is Mookie Betts. He's going up there game after game. I think like they got Kiermaier, but other than that, it's pretty even matched in the outfield.
Yeah, but like their Tampa Bay's defensive just their output is incredible.
I think Kershaw broke the curse last night. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, all right, Dodgers are winning. So I got all my money on the Dodgers. I'll go with 4-2 in the series. I think Tampa's able to squeak one out. I think Morton will get a win, and then tonight Snell versus that guy's last name starts with a D. He's going against him. So I don't know. I like Tampa tonight, but I like Dodgers 4-2 in the series. That's gonna be my prediction.
For the purpose of me putting money down, I'm hoping LA wins, because otherwise, as an unpaid intern, I'm just throwing money away. But I'm there going for LA just because they've been through enough these past couple years with the whole Houston scandal, and just they have so much raw talent there. and I like so many of the guys on the team. Like, I love Mookie Betts as a player so much, so I want to see him succeed. I want to see Kershaw finally get through playing through all these injuries. I think, well, yeah, they do have an outfield. Dan's talking about output. They don't have output with the bats, and their percentages of home runs, they don't hit the long ball as well as the Dodgers do, and just matching it up, there's no way that Tampa should come out of this. Would it be awesome for Tampa to win? So then I could at least say at least the Jays lost to the best team. That would make my own ego feel a little bit better coming off the season we had. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking Dodgers got it all the way.
All right. I think that's it.